So I was just leaving home, right? Traveling, not driving, traveling, right? But my mom and I were, um, as I was leaving, she was asking about stuff. She was saying, be safe and all that. And, you know what I'm saying? I was like, just a regular, son, mother, son, leaving home and then going whatever. And she was like, she asked me, did I pray today? Because it was whatever. And she was like, I think I make the mistake of responding sometimes. And then that continues more cutscenes, unskippable cutscenes and shit. Because my mom, so as she was saying, she's like, "Be safe, stay in prayer," and I'm like, "Yeah," because usually for that stuff, I usually don't respond ever. But this time I was thinking maybe I can put my disguise a little bit more convincing if I just say, "Yeah, okay," as she's saying, "Stay in prayer," and she, audaciously, she's like, "Have you prayed today?" And again, I try to pretend that I'm so far away that I can't hear her. And she asked again, and I'm like, nope. I didn't say nope, but I said no. And she's like, what's going on with you? And I said, nothing. Well, no, let me give you the dialogue real quick, right? Well, dialogue. It's more like she's saying stuff. I'm just there, right? But she's asked, first of all, she's like, did you pray today? She asked twice. Second time, I don't respond the first time. The second time, I'm like, no. She's like, what's going on with you? And keep in mind, my parents are devout old school Christians, right? So she's like, what's going on with you? And I said, and she's like, is it between you and God? And this is where that comment right there, that question right there, is what kind of sparked this whole rant, right? She asks if this is between me and God, and I'm like, nothing. I'm like, as in response to her question about what's going on with me. What's going on with me? Because at first I'm like, huh? Like, I knew what she was talking about, but I needed time to like kind of think about what I'm supposed to respond with in between what her next question might be. I kind of, it's going to be a random question, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, she's like, what's going on with you? And I'm like, nothing. And she's like, is it between you and God? And that's the problem. There's nothing. And I'm like, okay. So at that point, I'm already leaving. The door's already locked, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, and that whole question of, is it between you and God, really got me thinking. Like, if Christians didn't attribute such human qualities, such personal qualities in the dynamic the dynamic that they have with God, the God figure, right? The entity of God. Because at this point in my deconstruction, my non-belief, my agnosticism, right? I have taken away that personification because it makes it harder for me to have serious conversations or discussions about this kind of stuff because it makes me feel silly attributing actual human value to the entity, right? Because, and you'll hear me say him, you'll hear me say like, pronouns like him, you know what I'm saying, he, all that stuff, right? But that's because that's the way it's just language, right? The language I'm speaking is English, so I'm going to be saying him. I'm not going to be saying it because you're not going to know what I'm talking about at a certain point. But when she said, is it between you and God? That really got me thinking, like, bro, she physiologically thinks that God has qualities. Because and this is gonna get to different topics, right? Biology, philosophy, all that stuff, right? And I'm no biologist. Like, I like science, I like biology and stuff like that, but I don't know enough of it to know if what I'm saying is correct. But to me, that you saying if there's a relationship between you and God, that there has to be an emotional bond. There has to be something more than just knowing it exists, right? And by that I mean, in order for something to experience, display, exhibit emotion, it has to have a brain. Not just a brain, but a brain with the capacity to have emotion, not just to have response to stimuli. Like, there are animals, vertebrates and invertebrates all across the entire planet have brains in some way, right? But not all of them have the mental capacity to experience emotion, let alone to display that emotion in a way that we can attribute value to form a bond with. That's why I was talking about something a couple days ago, like a week ago, about how humans have they don't have the capability to take another human's life, but they have no problem swatting flies, they have no problem killing bugs, they have no problem doing this with bugs and stuff like that. They'll even kill something like rodents, right? But when it comes to humans, we have attributed so much value to the human life, to the human. I'm traveling, by the way. Don't, whatever, right? But we have attributed so much value to the human life, the capacity to be a human in life, the appreciation of life, that we have a problem with taking life. That's why it's so hard for the average person cannot take somebody's life in cold blood. In self-defense, that's not cold blood. That's self-defense. I'm talking about if you saw somebody the same way that you swat a fly because it's bothering you, you would not just swat somebody for tapping you in their shoulder 20 times, you know what I'm saying, asking me a question. You would not do that, you know what I'm saying? So in the same way that people can experience emotions and have brains and stuff like that, is the same way that people, like Christians, believe that God has emotions and a brain, right? And it's like, and I know when you're in, if the issue, but one thing that I've thought about and realized is that if you grow up as a Christian, as a believer, you know what I'm saying, you don't really have the mental breathing room to question these things. Because if you grow up in a Christian, you're like me, I have the luxury and privilege of social media and being Gen Z and being the timeline I was born in to have the space. Obviously, I'm not the first person ever to deconstruct, you know what I'm saying? But it's like when you are raised in that, and your entire environment is that for your entire life is that for 60 plus years, right? That is, you have no mental breathing room to not just to question, but to actually really think about what you're talking about. You're attributing. Most Christians will say that God has a brain, has feelings, and all that, right? But forget the how do you know that, right? Like, even if why would he have that, right? Why would he have a brain? Why would he have something that we have? Why would he have a brain? Why would he have emotions? You know what I'm saying? Because a brain is like, bro, let's say he has a brain, right? Let's say God has a brain. That would mean he has a body. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about Jesus. I'm talking about, okay, sure, let's say Jesus, right? But even then, that's still human, right? So all these things that you say that God has, you know what I'm saying? Let's say he has a brain, then he has to have blood. He has to have all these things that make your brain able to do what it does, as in to think, to function properly. You need oxygen, you need blood, you need all these things. So basically you're saying God has a physical human body. You know what I'm saying? And like, I know you're gonna say Jesus, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna say all that stuff, right? But it's like, bro, the capacity for a human to know everything, to be omniscient, it's impossible. Then you're gonna say he's beyond logic. Then he's beyond existence. You know what I'm saying? You can't be out of logic in the scope of reality. You know what I'm saying? And then claim to be within reality enough to the point where humans can understand you. You know what I'm saying? You're saying don't lean on our understanding. But it's like, bro, what other understanding could you possibly lean on? Because if you cannot comprehend something, if something's so far out of logic that you cannot comprehend him, you can understand it because that's all you have. All you have is your own understanding. Like, why would I depend on somebody else's? That's another issue, right? I'm just, adding more and more layers to this shit, right? You're saying don't lean on your own understanding, but it's like you can't lean on somebody else's understanding because that's theirs. You can't lean on God's understanding because you can't understand him. So therefore, you only have yours. But that's why so many Christians, when you're indoctrinated as a little kid, they basically are telling you, don't think for yourself. Lean not on your own understanding is literally telling you, don't think on your own. Don't use your own brain to think. Use somebody else's. I'm traveling, by the way, not driving. Don't think. Think as if God is thinking for you. Therefore, whatever happens is just because God is God, right? That's the issue. Because when you're young, they tell you not to think for yourself. So when a Christian says, when my mom said relationship with God, I'm like, you really think that he's got the capability to have a relationship with you, right? You know what I'm saying? If Christians treated the entity of God, the dynamic, if Christians had the dynamic they have with their car or their house that they have with God, then these discussions would not happen, right? You're telling me that if someone, because people give their cars personal qualities, but it's like ironic, it's like a joke, right? Like my girl, she's talking about her car. Her car's name is Bertha, right? That car's name is Bertha, right? But it's like a joke. It's like semi-joking, but it's like, yes, people attribute personal value to their car, but they don't give it personal qualities. You don't say your car is jealous that you're driving somebody else's car. You're not saying that your house is jealous that you to sleep over somebody else. Give God something that they cannot physically prove has actual emotions. And you know what? Forget that, right? Let's say that God does have personal human emotions, right? You're telling me if he has enough he is the emotional range of a human being. Forget having emotions at all. Sure, you know what I'm saying? Superman has emotions. Thanos has emotions, right? You know what I'm saying? But they have like Superman is different. He was raised on Earth, so that's different. But let's say Thanos, right? He has emotions, but he's not swayed in the same way a human is swayed emotionally, right? What's his name? Dr. Manhattan. He's emotionless. He's only doing things. He only does things based on reasonable outcomes. You know what I'm saying? You're telling me God has emotions. That's fine. Okay, let's say he has emotions, which means he has a brain, which means he has blood and all that, and oxygen. So he's basically a regular guy, right? He has the emotional capacity of a human. You know what I'm saying? He's the most loving. A lot of people are all loving. A lot of people are so naively all loving. You know what I'm saying? But yet God has the emotional range to be like, wow, you don't believe in me, so I'm gonna allow you to go to hell. I'm gonna allow you to be a part of this genocide that I'm gonna start. I'm gonna tell this person to command whoever to kill all their firstborn sons. So you not only created all these kids, like created them in the womb before you knew them before they were born. So technically you're like, hey, I'm gonna create you. You're not choosing to be created, you're not choosing to be born, but I'm gonna create you anyway. But I'm also gonna know that somebody that you will never ever meet, let alone the fact that one, you're a fucking newborn, you're never gonna reach consciousness, but you're also never gonna meet this person because they are some 80,000-year-old or 800-year-old person. I'm gonna command this person to command your slaughter. You don't have the choice to one, be born, then two, the choice to experience being slaughtered. So it's like you are so offended by something that somebody else did or didn't do, I should say, that you were going to command the slaughter of newborns that you knew personally, apparently, before they were born. So it's like, at what point the point, I keep saying, at what point do the Christians like start thinking about this stuff? But it's like, the point is never there. The point is never there. And that's like the issue. It will be like, bro, a lot of people say, right? If people didn't tell you about religions until you turn about, some people say 16, some people say 25. I say 21, personally, not even 21 personally, but I would just say anything besides like, childhood, right? Once you are about 15 and above, that's when religion should be introduced to you. You know what I'm saying? Because then nobody would believe in it. And if you did believe in it, then okay, right? Then okay, that's fine. But stop making it seem like it's true. You know what I'm saying? It can be true to you. Like, if anything, bro, like, I believe in, I like Salafism, right? Philosophy, where things only exist when you're currently experiencing them. I don't believe anybody else exists. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do, obviously. If I'm gonna be genuine, obviously I believe people exist. That's how fucking humans work, right? But it's like, philosophically, I think that nothing behind me, unless I come to in my realm of experiencing, it exists until I can experience it, until it's in my field of perception. Anyways, so like, unless you were like 20 or something like that, you're like, okay, this God thing sounds pretty cool, I'll follow it. You know what I'm saying? That's different than you not even having the choice to question, like, obviously you have the choice, but like you have the autonomy to question, right? But you don't have the environmental choice to question religion when you are a little kid, right? I've made a few videos on that on my TikTok, right? But it's like, you don't have the autonomy, you don't have the environmental autonomy to question these things. So that's why when I say Christians don't reach the point where they start thinking about this stuff, like, at what point did you really start thinking? Because like, there is no point for them. The point I'm making right now is that, like, if you were not Christian and you went your whole life until you're about 15, because that's when you're 15, you're still a teenager, right? People always say you're a kid when you're 15. No, you're a conscious, cognitively, capable person by 15. Obviously, you are before that too, but it's like 15 is like the minimum threshold. Not saying that's when you should be, but that's like the minimum driving. I mean, I'm not driving, I'm traveling. Anyways, so when you are in that age range, 15 to 21, you know what I'm saying? That's when you are starting to change more, your everything. Biology, right? Adolescence, puberty, all that stuff, right? So if you were in that age range and you're like, and somebody told you God loves you, and you were taking biology that day for third period, and you're like, okay, wait, so he has a brain, which means he has blood, which means he has to breathe. You know what I'm saying? You start adding logically sound, like, reason stuff, right? But then that same Christian would be like, well, no, he doesn't have a brain. Well, I mean, okay, but physically Jesus did. But they're like, wait, who's Jesus? Oh, well, he's also God. But like, wait, is God he's the Holy Spirit? But he's a ghost. But he's a body. No, there's three of them. There's 3 of them. Okay. So now what? Like, there's just 3. You worship 3 gods. Well, so you're polytheistic? No, we're monotheistic. But it's this 3. The Trinity. The Trinity. Is it? Who is she? Oh no, it's just the 3 gods. One. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, if somebody went their whole life until they were about 15, 16 to 21, not knowing about God until then, and you gave them the rundown, the rundeezy of this, they would be like, bro, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? How can you say he has the brain power, the capability, the capacity to have emotions, but then also not have any of the qualities that are required to have a brain? You know what I'm saying? If y'all just worship Jesus as a human being, that would be completely different, bro. You know what I'm saying? Kings and queens were worshipped for all of human history, right? You know what I'm saying? Calling somebody bro, I started watching Game of Thrones this past week, right? I don't know the people yet. I don't really know the characters that well yet. I don't really know the dynamics yet. But there's one character. He's like a king, I guess, but he's like the people that they're bound down to him. They're like your grace. Imagine dick riding somebody calling him your grace. Another grown man calling him my grace. Well, hell no, bro. I'm not gonna call somebody my grace or your grace. The fuck. I know you're like what's the word, bro? My brain fog. My phone is the phone, bro. You know what I'm saying? You are not monarchy, but when you're not like divinely chosen for it, bro. When you're divinely chosen for it, like whatever it is called, hierarchy. Basically, God put these people in royalty, whatever that term is. I forgot the term. So I'm kind of thinking on a whim right now, but it's like if people worshipped just Jesus as like a human being, and that was just because, you know what I'm saying, for whatever kingly or royal reason, that would be different than you claiming to know something that, because again, they claim to say that you can't lean on your own understanding because he's so vast, he's so incomprehensible to humans. But yet you claim to understand, you claim to know him, but you can't know him, but he's too vast, right? Like they don't pick. They say both, but they don't understand. The T's not clocking to them, right? Shout out to Justin Bieber. You know what I'm saying? It's not, the T's are clocking to them. Because they'll say things that not even just contradict, but don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, back to my example of like the house and car dynamic. If people treated God, if people were just like, he's the creator, and he's like running, we're puppets to him, but we're also like on a string. So like, yeah, he created us and everything, and he's like a tool in our universe. He's just a fundamental tool for our universe. Okay, that's great. And they didn't like worship him or whatever, because like people worship their houses, people worship their cars, but it's like that's specific people. That's like a handful of people every now and then, right? That's like a group of people, specific people that do that. People that worship their cars, their houses, and all that stuff. They're materialistic, bro. If people were materialistic for God, that would be different. You know what I'm saying? But it's the entire belief, and it's not just. I'm talking about Christian God because that's what I was for 15 years, right? I'm going to talk about what I know, right? But it's like, if people treated God materialistically, the way they do their houses and their cars, that would be a way better way to go about things versus you thinking that you know an all-powerful, knowing entity, yet claiming to not know him because he's too vast. It's like y'all just attribute things that would only make sense if he was a king. Yeah, he is the king. He's not LeBron to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he was just Jesus and y'all worshiping him as a person, as like, oh, your highness, your grace, like, that would be different, bro. That would be like, okay, you dick riding the nigga, but hey, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But you claim to think that he's just such an incomprehensible thing, but yet I know him personally. He's my protector. He's my father. Like, no, bro. What are we doing here, bro? I know we were doing. I was there. I was in that motherfucking shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was in that shit, bro. For 15 years of my life, yeah. Half of those 15 years, I was a little ass kid, right? I stopped believing for real when I was in 2024. You know what I'm saying? I was 22 in 2024, bro. I was a Christian from age. I remember, bro, specifically, I remember I was 6 years old, and I was like, okay, I'll believe in it. You know what I'm saying? And then I got baptized at 15. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a slow process, bro. That's why, again, I said before, if you were introduced to religion, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's Islam or Christianity or any other religion. If you attributed that if you introduced that to somebody at 15 to 21, they would genuinely they would laugh at you, bro. You know what I'm saying? They would laugh at you, my nigga. what I'm saying? Like I said before, if you told a 15-year-old that just got out of biology class last period, their third period, you know what I'm saying, and told them God loves you, so you're like, he loves me? I'm like, yeah, he is. He's a jealous God. He has emotions. He has emotions. So he not only does he have emotions, he has human emotions, which means he has a brain, which means he has to have blood and oxygen, which also means he has to have a skull, therefore a head, therefore a neck, therefore shoulders, like head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Like what are we doing here, bro? Like a 15-year-old that would laugh in your face. You could be 45 years old and they would laugh in your face, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it's this shit is so interesting to me, but it's just